Hey guys, Colbrew here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I got great news for you guys because Guurda Brew will get buffed. And if they don't buff her, then I don't understand why they released her. Why we have this champion as a daily login reward for more than a year of playing Raid. Right. The reason I'm a bit upset with this champion is because I not only fully booked her, I got masteries for her, level 60, fully ascended. I didn't even get her through the daily login. I just got her from a shard. So it could have been whatever else, other champion than this one. But no, I just got her, the daily login reward. So, okay, Colbrew, you're going to have a dupe for her. Amazing. Can she do anything? I'll show you in this video, all right? I'm a bit upset about this champion because I thought, okay, her kit makes a little bit of sense, like she's a poison plus debuff spread possible champion, but she's a legendary champion. That's my issue with her. She's a legendary Ogren tribes. I mean, the faction wars aside, I don't care about faction wars. Like being 1 year player, you can still do faction wars without a full legendaries team, so you don't need her to do it. Just as a champion, like Cleopteryx got buffed, I hope she gets buffed too, okay? And I'll explain why. I put accuracy on her because she's clearly a support type champion. Some health, 40,000, 208 speed. Not average, but you know, you get the point. Speed, accuracy, health, and defense is what you need generally on supports. And that's how I went with her to test things out, right? Skills. We'll look at the skills and their rationale right now, okay? And please find some reasoning behind what they thought, okay? The masteries, I just went with War Master and a little bit of support. Nothing too special here. Master Hexer, and I even got Sniper, and I'll explain why my thinking behind Sniper went like that. War Master is obviously for a little bit of damage in PvE situations. Other than that, pretty basic, right? Pretty basic so far. Brew Mama, right? Cold Brew Mama. I mean, no, not really. A1 attacks one enemy, 60% chance of applying a debuff spread effect. So by itself saying there debuff spread effect, I thought, okay, Sniper might work with this mastery. I didn't have really other options of placing, so I went, okay, I'll put that 5% in there. Hopefully it works with debuff spread as well. I'm not sure it does though. Takes one random debuff from the target and places it on all enemies under weakened debuff. So if you don't have weaken on the target, this will not work. Decreases the target's turn meter by 10% if they're not under any debuffs. Very specific and very weak because Armiger and a Corran champion that you guys know that I love has a 30% turn meter reduction with no limitations whether the target has any debuffs, right? And not only that, this takes 3 books also, and it only changes the damage. Her multipliers are not that great, about a 3 multiplier on her A1 and a 4 on her A2, which is the attack. The cooldowns are quite short when booked, like 3 turns cooldown for both A2 and A3, but still, it feels bad booking her out. I mean, I would never book her out if I had a limited account, okay? As a content creator, we get stuff, we kind of, you know, upgrade random stuff all the time. Rot Limb Decoction. I don't know how this name was brought in, but attacks all enemies, 80% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. Sounds alright, fully booked. It gives you that 100% chance to apply the weaken. Weaken is great. It just adds a little bit more damage potential to your champions that are already doing the damage, right? Pretty obvious. After attacking, 80% chance of placing 2 5% poison debuffs for 2 turns on all enemies without weaken debuffs. This is where I don't get it. These poison debuffs cannot be blocked or resisted. What's the point of this A2 skill where you have 100% chance to apply weaken, and then if you don't apply it, you apply poisons that are unresistible and unblockable, which is amazing, by the way. Is amazing. So I still don't get how this works. My only thought would be block debuffs buff, weaken, and then maybe on specific targets that they have weaken already on, and then you would be able to apply the poisons. None of these work, and I'll show you, all right? I still don't understand how this second part of the skill is gonna work. I need Plarium to respond to this because they designed it with a reason. and I don't see the reason. I'm getting too angry with this. Hemlock Surprise, because we asked about her when she was hinted to us. We got nothing from them, right? Still a bit angry about that A2. 80% chance of removing one random buff from all enemies. Then has an 80% chance of placing 5% poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns. This is the only thing that's good on her. The only thing. It's a buff removal, poisons, which are resistible, by the way. So the A2 part, if this was here, I would have been pretty happy with her. Unresistible, unblockable, so I wouldn't really need accuracy on her. Even if her A1 was unresistible, it would have been amazing. It means a support that apply poisons without the need for accuracy would have been great, right? Whatever. Also removes 2 random debuffs from all allies. So a cleanser plus poisoner, we kind of have that with Eurogrim, don't we? Isn't he a cleanser, a single target cleanser? Battle Khazar, a legendary, is an AoE cleanser for all debuffs, not just 2 random debuffs. Poisons for Battle Khazar are also 2 poisons on all enemies, but Battle Khazar also applies that healing over time. So obviously you see the gap between the power between these 2 champions, and also the book requirement for this one is quite high with 5 and then another 6, so 11 books. And we still haven't seen the passive, which is whenever an enemy receives a debuff, their turn meter is decreased by 3%. That being said, the debuff part is nice. 3% might seem small, but it can add up with the more debuffs you place. The idea would have been poison teams with her. They help a ton with the turn meter reduction. If you have her in the team, she adds the 2 poisons. Then the other champions apply the other poisons. It helps to keep the turn meters down for all enemies. I kind of like it. If I had Calvalax, I could have tried something with him that would have basically helped in the waves. I could have done something good with her. It's just her A2 that I'm still angry about. And then the aura increases ally resist in all battles by 65. Right? Let's have a look at her in the Doom Tower, where it was pretty easy for me to test things out because we had a whole wave of weak enemies just to test on how that A2 works, alright? Because that's why I was pretty angry about this. So the A2, the idea that I had, if it's a weak hit, then the weaken will not apply, so the poison must apply. But if you guys don't know already, if you do a weak hit, basically your whole skill is cancelled. So the A2 would never work in that situation, right? So we do the A2. You'll see a weak hit somewhere, and look at that. No poisons. We got the weaken debuffs there. That's alright. And I'll show you what else that I had in mind, okay? I thought, okay, if there's a weaken already, then maybe the A2 skill will then apply the poison, so you can go in there with a different weaken champion, and then during the same turn, because the weakens will have a 2-turn cooldown, she will apply poisons instead. Alright, so you kind of need a little bit of setup. That's not how it works. But anyway, let's just see the A1 in action. Debuff spread only on weakened targets, but if you do a weak hit, the debuff spread will not happen. Now I didn't do a weak hit, so it did spread out on the same cooldown as this one had, so 3 turns. That's pretty solid, and it's nice that you also have extra turn meter reduction. The A3 is just a good amount of poisons. Look at that, 2 poisons on each target. And then we have the A2 again on targets with a 2-turn weaken, which is these 2, right? I have it on 1x speed, so we see here in action. Can we apply even more poisons to these 2 specific targets who have the weaken debuff already? Right? Let's see. No, it just reapplied the weaken debuff, and it applied it to the other 2 targets, while the target on the left didn't get it applied. So you see how this goes. She did apply a good amount of poisons. This is solid, but this is a normal Doom Tower also, so don't be surprised by the damage that you're seeing. I didn't even build her for damage. I'm just testing her out, just trying to understand the reasoning behind all this. What I do like is the low cooldowns. Like the cooldowns of the poisons are quite low, but then again, I'm comparing it again with champions such as Battle Khazar. I like the debuff spread when the weaken happens there, but other than that, I still don't understand the A2. The A2 needs that change a little bit. She can have big potential, and as a free champion, she kind of needs it because we only get 25 fragments, I think, per month. So it's a 4-month champion. Plus Cleopteryx, plus the other one that we get. Like, yeah, it's 25 per month, right? You don't get more than that. I think I have 60 fragments so far. So another 15, that's 75. Another 25 for the next month. And that's going to be 100. So, yeah, 4 months together. Plus Cleopteryx, plus the other one, the Epic, that's so bad as well. And them two together, really, that's it. That's Guurda, whatever she's called. I still don't understand the A2. I can just show you there with the weekend debuff. Champion, a champion that applies the weekend debuff. Let's go to hard Doom Tower this time, so they don't die from the AoEs. We'll use, let's just use a Lydia here. And we'll do this testing just to see. There's no reason to show her with damage. As I said, the multiplier is a 4 multiplier. So again, not that high. And you won't really be building her with high crit rate, high crit damage, when the idea behind her is to get multiple turns and do the debuff spread and also apply lots of poisons. I would see a Relentless set more than anything else, or Retaliation Gear is the one that counterattacks. That can be useful because she will be basically counterattacking and spreading the debuffs with her A1, all right? Let's do the A2 here. And we do apply the weekend debuff on everybody. 2 turns. Some of them have 3 turns duration. So I would have expected here that we would again get a, you know, poison application. At least some of these. Like, there's no chance I get a weak hit on everyone. So I'll get a normal hit. The weekend is there. I shouldn't overwrite it, but I do, right? Yeah, 0 poisons on the target. We did overwrite the weekend, I think, on the left side here, but it would have made way more sense to have the poisons actually apply in this situation. There's other champions with very similar skill sets than this that have this strange kind of use, and it's one that I can think of right now. It's Kyoku's A2, attacks all enemies, 100% chance to place a decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. After attacking, has an 80% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns on all enemies that this skill did not place a decreased attack debuff on. So again, 100% chance. If you get a weak hit, she will not apply. Alright guys, so I do have a an account now that has Kyoku and a Hegemon that applies the decreased attack as an AoE. So how Kyoku works, or A2 works differently than Guurda's, is that if there's a decreased attack down already, she will apply the HP burn. So that's not how Guurda works. That's my issue with it. This says attacks all enemies, 80% chance of placing the 50% decreased attack. That's the same as Guurda, right? She applies the weaken. After attacking, 80% chance of placing HP burn on all enemies that this skill did not place a decreased attack debuff on. So if they've got one already, you'll see that the HP burn is applied. Boom, look at all those beautiful HP burns. That's the idea behind Guurda. So she will get buffed, hopefully. I hope they understand that this is not how it works. This is very unlike how Kyoku was designed. I don't think they had in mind just, you know, I don't know, going in with Guurda with zero accuracy gear. That's not what they had in mind when they designed it. Guys, I found how to apply the poisons from Guurda, all right? Let me just show you what I've done to Guurda right now. I've actually found the solution, and she has 0 gator at all. So my only accuracy that I get is from masteries and great hole plus the base that she gets. So I've got 110 accuracy. Hopefully I'll get resisted on the weekend debuff, and then I'll be able to apply the poisons and be unresistible and unblockable. All right, so let's go into the fight, and hopefully I'll get resisted by the enemies here. So I brought in more boosters because I have 0 speed on her, 0 gear. So she kind of needs to have that extra little bit of boosting. So all my boosters are here and available. Let me sleep this this guy right there. Even boost even further. Look at that. Okay, now let's see the A2 in action. And if it does apply the poisons. Can we get resisted here? Yes, we got resisted, and we did manage to apply the poisons. Now, the big problem is, well, the big problem is that you cannot apply the poisons through your A3, which requires accuracy. and your A1, which requires weekend debuff. So you have to have a different weekend application champion. You will not benefit from the decrease in turn meter that she gets from the A1 and the turn meter reduction that she applies through the passive, right? So you basically need to break the champion to make her skill work, which I don't understand why, unless you're running an increased accuracy buffer after her, which will benefit her from the following turns, which makes zero sense. Nobody would ever build a champion like this. You will not build a support champion that applies debuffs with zero accuracy just so that you can have one part of her 3 skills, well, 4 skills with her passive to actually work. I think it's a poor design when they make these skills, or at least they need to bring more clarification on how you can actually utilize these, because it's definitely like what Kyoku has, and I believe Kyoku works the same way. You need to get resisted, you need to go in there with low accuracy to actually have the HP burns work. I totally hate this champion. She's gonna stay in the vault, and her dupe will not even get summoned, maybe only for I guess a summon event, summon tournament, or a CVC like 10,000 points, because I already have her. So yeah, that pretty much sucks. Design is cool and all, kind of ugly, well, comparing it to every other champion, but that's Guurda, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. If you think there's a different way to build her out, please leave it down in the comments below. I'll do a video and say sorry about everything and do a proper video if you think that I've done the testing wrong in any way. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.